how do I slow this divorce thing down? So this is a common question we get asked, and it goes something like this. Let's say that we're talking to the wife, and the wife says, I came home the other day, and my husband, he looked at me seriously, and he said, honey, we need to talk. And so we sat down around the table, and he said, honey, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore, and I want a divorce. Oh, by the way, he says, I don't want to get lawyers involved. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it straightforward. Here's what we can do. Let's split everything 50-50, and let's do child custody 50-50, and let's, something like that. He says, listen, honey, I'll take care of it. I'll have some papers drafted up, and I'll have it all taken care of for you. And the problem is that for the wife, she had no idea this was coming. I mean, it just came completely out of left field. And, 24 hours ago, she thought she was in a good marriage. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but she thought that she was going to be married for the rest of her life, and now she's finding out that her husband's asking for a divorce. And so the question often is, how do I slow this down? And it's how do I slow it down, because maybe this may seem crazy to you, the wife will tell me, but I still think there's a chance for this. I still think that maybe we can reconcile, and I still think that he's going through some sort of phase. And the reality is, what's really going on is the wife needs time. I mean, it's not fair, right? The husband, he's had months, who knows, maybe a year to go through this process and to think this through and to go through his grieving process. And for the poor wife, she's had no time. It just gets dropped on her. So here's the good news. The good news is that if you do nothing, the divorce process is pretty slow. Of course it is. It's a legal process. There's a lawsuit involved. I'm not suggesting that you ultimately want to have it filed like a lawsuit. There's a lot of things that go along with that. But the important thing is you don't have to sign any paperwork that your husband presents to you. You don't have to do anything, at least for a little bit of time. And that is the best way for you to slow things down, is to not affirmatively do something that you shouldn't be doing. Don't sign off on any agreements. Don't agree to these things, at least not yet. Tell your husband that you need some time, and allow yourself some time. Here's a couple things you have to look out for, because if you do nothing, there are a couple of areas where it can lead to problems. Problem area number one is, what if you have kids? You have to figure out what you're going to do if you guys separate in the short term to make sure you take care of the kids. If you don't separate, it's not a problem. But don't do nothing at the expense of maybe screwing up what your time sharing is going to be later. Pay attention to that detail. Don't do nothing if your husband gets angry at you for doing this and starts to cut off finances if you're dependent on him. And this is kind of obvious, but if he puts you in a bad financial position, you're going to have to do something. And there's stuff that we can do in court that you can get done if you need to make sure that cash flow gets started again. And don't do nothing if you're in either a physical or an emotionally abusive situation. So it is conceivable that when you tell your husband, listen, I need some time, that he gets angry, especially if you're in one of those dynamics where the husband has always traditionally controlled things and controlled situations in your relationship. And if that turns, and you'll know, I mean, no one knows better than you, but if that turns into a situation where it leads to either emotional or physical abuse, then absolutely do something. Start by developing an exit plan, and we have a whole bunch of content that talks about what you need to do in that situation. But for the purpose of the original question, which is, I'm not ready yet, I need some time, I want to see if we can work this out, how do I slow it down? The answer is that just don't do anything. Slow it down. The system itself is made to be slow enough that it'll give you plenty of time to do what you need to do and either come to grips with what's happening, or if there is a chance to reconcile, to work on that with your spouse. Take care.